We say peace, shalom, and assalamu alaikum. We say shalom, shalom, if this was comfortable to you. I am Nuskqu of the Eloheem family. They say that we don't exist. I say that they don't know what they say. What you said. As I will continue to read the birth of the new tribe called Adamites. And the reason that they were called Adamites because they were people of the ground. And it was a different type of creation from the creation that came and was put together by what we would call expediting the process. Okay, so it's different, as you will see, and we'll talk about this. Okay. Eye to eye. First, I want to start off with the healing process of healing each and every one of you, because I can do it and you can do it too. And you have to say, I am healed. I am healed by the bloodline of the Eloheem. I am healed by the bloodline of that which is called Christ or special. Christ is a Latin word that's called special. So I am special. You can be special. You are special. I am special. We are special. You are a child of the Eloheem. No matter how old you are, has nothing to do with it. You are a child. You are CHI, which is energy. You are energy. You are energy. You are a soul. Rise up within yourself. Feel the power. Accept the power. Feel the energy. Feel the mental directions that I'm giving to you. Feel that, the mental, MINMEM, MAN, the woman, the man, the woman, the man, you. You are a angelic being. You are higher than the human being. You are more than a human being. There are some human beings, and then some of you are angelic beings, which is called Eloheem or Anunnaki. Rise up. You are now healed. You are now healed. You must say it. I am healed. I am healed by the word. I am healed by the light. I accept the light. I feel the light. I see the light. I enjoy the light. I cast out all evil from me and around me. You are healed. You are healed. Today I'm going to read the second part, which is called the birth of the new tribe of the Adamites. And basically, during the Bara, the word Bara means procreation. It's the procreation period of the planet Earth. These Eloheem, also called Anunnaki, reconstructed two places up there in the skies where there was water. In the quote above, the word beginning, which is Aramic Hebrew, is Rashid. The word Rashid means the first time of something. So when it is said in the beginning God created, that is a false translation. They use create, but in the Hebrew, where they have create, there is the word bara, B-A-R-A, which really means to recreate, to procreate, or simply the making, a reconstruction. The procreation period, bara, is not the same as the word khalaqa. The word khalaqa is the word for creation, or the creation period, which is found in the Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic, the word khalaq, meaning to create, the same as the Hebrew word khalaqa, simply because it wasn't the first time. Bara is the word used in Genesis 1, first chapter, second verse, in reference to the reconstruction period of Tamtu. The word Tamtu or Tamat is the word that they use for earth, after it had become Tuhu, empty, and Buhu, desolate, as Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah 4:23-28, which was removed. It made clear Bara also means the maker. from which they get the 12th attribute, al-Bari, meaning the maker, which is found in the Holy Quran, El's Holy Quran 8754, as your maker, or Bari el-Kun. This is the same word as bara in Genesis 1:1. So you see they play games with words. Thus the creation story that was conceived to you in Genesis chapter 1 is not the original creation story, but a recreation or a reconstruction, which is bara, meaning to procreate, not khalaqa, which means to create. The missing verses. Most people were never told that 6 verses of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verses 23 to 28, was intentionally taken out of Genesis 1:1. I will now insert it back in its proper place. You be the judge. I saw the planet Earth, and he neighed, lo, and it was Tuhu, empty, and Buhu, desolate. And the Shah Mahim, which means heavenly skies, and Yin, they had no Ori. Ori means light. I saw the Har, or the mountains, and lo, the Ra'ash, the trembled, and the Ga'ar, the hills, the Khalal, moved lightly. I looked, and lo, there was no Adam, or Adamite, earthling, and all the Afi, or the fowls of the Shamayim, the heavenly skies, were Nardad, or gone. I looked, and lo, the land of Cadman, or Khamir, the fruitful garden, was Midbari, or wilderness, and all the or the cities of it were Nathats, broken down, and the Fanim, the presence of a Yahuwah, and by his big anger. But thus has a Yahuwah said, the Kuli, which means whole, Eretz, which means the planet Earth, will be Sha'amam, desolate, but I will not make a total color or end. For this reason will the Eretz, or the planet Earth, Abal, mourn, and Shamayim, the heavenly skies, Mahal, above, and Khadar, black, be black, because I have the Bard spoken it, I have Zemain planned it, and will not be Nacham, sorry, neither will I turn back from this decision. Genesis 1:2 is a duplication of Jeremiah 4:23, the blueprint of creation, because the planet Earth, also called Tamat, had become Tuhu, which means empty, and Buhu, which means desolate, and no sunlight shined through the dust clouds onto the surface of Tamat's waters for 6,000 years, which was created by the great meteorite that hit the planet Earth, and the wind of the Eloheem ship called Nibiru, hovered upon the surface of the waters and blew and moved the black dust clouds that blocked the sun. The first day of creation, when the Eloheem asked for light to exist, the sun was already created prior to that 93 billion years ago. There was a black dust cloud which encircled around the earth, which did not allow the sunlight to penetrate into the earth. So in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 16, when it separates or speaks about the sunlight shining forth, and it mentions the creation of the sun, the moon, and the stars, meaning that now they were able to see the skies, because the black dust cloud caused by the meteorite that hit the earth 2,250,000 years ago was moved according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. 3. And these beings pleaded and said to the Most High, Yea, he, let exist, Ori, light, and the light existed. And the Eloheem and Anunnaki saw how Tory, or agreeable, the conditions will be with the light again. So they badal, or separated the light from chashach, the darkness. The Eloheem and Anunnaki called out amongst each other, the light is daytime, and the darkness is lachil, or the shadow hours. And as a result of that, there was el-reb, or the dusk, and the beginning of a new yom, a day that took one period of 7,000 years. The two waters, the clouds, and the oceans. The earth atmosphere, or air, is composed of gas ammonia, which is nitrogen and hydrogen, methane, which is carbon and hydrogen, and water, which is hydrogen and oxygen. At this point, the earth was still a burning hot mass, and there was a mixture of gases which formed rings around the earth. These many rings contained heavy carbon and minerals. The minerals had rings that had hydrocarbons still further from the earth. The outmost rings was water. Air is a mist. It was separated from the waters upon the planet Earth. The purpose of the rakhia, or the filament, was to part the waters above and below it, meaning that it separated the waters which were surrounding the planet Earth from the waters which were upon the planet Earth. Its separation is called the asteroid belt, or the necklace of the sky. This firmament extended, and it became known today as Shamaheem, meaning sky. And the Eloheem commanded the rakhia, or the filament, which is the asteroid belt, to be in the middle of the solar system between Mars, Venus, Earth, and Mercury, and Jupiter, and Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, the two sets of the planet with water, so it would separate Mayan water on the planet Earth, which is below, from the water on the other planets above the clouds. And the Eloheem and Anunnaki, the Eloheem also called Anunnaki, made an arch filament like a beaded necklace, an asteroid belt in the sky visible, and badal, separated between the two waters. One was Ta'af beneath, the beaten out firmament, which Mercury called Mumu, Venus was called Lahamu, Earth was called Tamat, and Mars Lamu. From the others, which was Al, or above, Jupiter was called Kashar, Saturn and Shar, Al, which means above, Uranus, which is Mashig, and Neptune, Ea. And this happened. The collections of waters. And the Eloheem Anunnaki named Rakhia, the filaments, Shamayim, the skies, and it was Ereb, the dust period. And the new second Yom day of 7,000 years was over. And the Eloheem and Anunnaki said amongst each other, the waters beneath the skies are to be brought together as Echad, one, mass as oceans, rivers, streams, and lakes, and let the dry land be seen, and this happened. And 10, and the Eloheem and Anunnaki called out to the planet Earth, called out that the planet Earth will be dry ground, and the last mass key, and the waters that were gathered together, they called after Yam, the seeds, or Tamat. And the Eloheem saw these things that this way were Toby, which means agreeable. And the Anunnaki Eloheem said amongst each other, let the planet Earth Key now spread seeds in them in order to yield new seeds, and a fruit there should grow with seeds in them from the land mass. And all this happened. 12. And so the planet Earth did bring forth grass and herbs with the seeds in themselves, and great trees within itself. And the Elohim, also called Anunnaki, saw that things this way were agreeable. 13. And it was dusk period, and the third day of the 7,000 years was over, the first calendar for seasons. In the quote below, Genesis 1:14, the word light in Aramaic Hebrew is mawari, means illuminating light. This word mawari, meaning illuminated lights, means that light was now able to shine through, because the word illuminate means to supply with light. This light, which is the sun, is the Gadori, or meaning the greater light. And then you have the moon and the stars, which were also made visible. This Mawari, or Mawari, illuminating light, as mentioned in Genesis 1st chapter 14th verse, is different from the Ori light, which is mentioned in Genesis 1:3. So the point again, as I stated before, that this Genesis 1:14 through 16 is just merely saying that now the sun, moon, and the stars, which were already created millions of years ago, are now being made visible because of the movement of the black dust clouds, which is Genesis 1:2, which caused the light to Mawari, illuminate or shine through. Genesis 1:14, and the Elohim Anunnaki said amongst each other, let the Mawari, or the illuminating light, exist in the Rachia, or the fulfillment of the skies, in order to Badal, separate between the Yom day light hours and between the Lachil, the shadow hours, and let them be as oaths or signals of the Ma'ad, the seasons of Yoms, which is the days, and Shanei, which is the years. The time for this planet, 4 and 20 hours in a day, 4 and 20,000 years in an equinox. The sunlight shines on the planet Earth again. That's Genesis chapter 1, 15th verse, as Mawari, which means illuminating light, and the Rashkia, the firmament of the skies, to shine the Ori, the light, upon the planet Earth, and this happened. And the Elohim and Anunnaki caused the Gadoli, the older and brighter light, to be seen in the sky in order to overpower the daytime, and the younger light of Qatar, or the lesser brightness, to be seen in through the shadow hours. They also made the other stars visible. And the Elohim, also called Anunnaki, made them appear in the Rachia, or the firmament of the skies, in order to shed Ori light on the planet Earth, and to overpower the day and the shadow hours, and to Badal, which means separate the daylight from the shadow hours. And the Elohim Anunnaki saw that these things this way was agreeable. 19. And it was dusk period, and the fourth day of 7,000 years was over, Then it says, how can there be days and nights, beginning all the way from Genesis 1:3 to Genesis 1:13, if the sun, the moon, and the stars were not created or made visible to give light upon the earth, until the fourth day, or the 28,000 years in creation of earthlings, which is Genesis 1:19. This is obviously must be talking about two different kinds of days, which I stated before in Psalms 90:1-4, as the Eloheem's Adonai days, which is 1,000 years, and now earthen days, Genesis 1:14-19, which are ruled by the seasons, the days, and the years. So the point that there are two different time periods being discussed here. Genesis chapter 1 is a blueprint of Genesis chapter 2, because in order to create something, he had to first create the state of nothing in order to place something in it, as the lightest atom was the hydrogen atom, and now they have the quark. It was in a state of nothingness before becoming something, lighter than the lightest atom, and beyond the quark, nothing still exists. It exists today until discovered. Thus, the beginning was made to exist by the science of the square and the circle. And we're going to leave you with that. And I want to say thank you all for your appreciation as we continue to learn who we are, our responsibility towards humanity, our responsibility towards the familiar spirits that we call family, and our responsibility towards the tribal earthlings and the Eloheem. As we know that time for the earthlings is different from those of the Eloheem. So in our rare appearance, and people think that is neglect, it's not neglect. We are on two different frequencies. But we also left our children here. And with this, we will teach our children, and our children will be the beacons of light. Our children will be the disc, the obelisk. They will shed their light throughout the galaxies.